You brought up torpedo bats. I want to get your thoughts on it because it seems kind of sports science, but then also sort of maybe not against the rules, even though it's not. But the Yankees are sure making them look good.
Yeah. So I also just start with this. Other teams have players who use or have tried similar models, right? So it's not like the Yankees are the only team with players who have used it. They definitely are the most prolific in terms of, Aaron Lenhart, who's kind of the guy who's getting credited for developing this. He was with the Yankees, now with the Marlins. There are more Yankees probably than any other team. I actually plan on asking a bunch of our guys today, whether they use it. I don't believe any of them do. So it's not like just incredibly prevalent, but it's not the first time that a player's used it. With all that said, it's surprising to me that it's taken this long for baseball to have something like this. I mean, the simplest comparison I can make is, and I don't really play golf, but I know that you get, Blake, have you gotten a club fitting, right? Like, I know that's a big thing, even for amateur golfers. Like, you don't even need to be a competitive golfer, and some will get a club fitting, which is intended to optimize your ability to contact the ball based on your height and your arms and just your biomechanics and whatnot. Well, this is, these are guys who have the opportunity to make millions and millions and millions of dollars. And it's surprising to me that we've always just been okay with the fact that the player has to fit to the bat as opposed to creating a bat that fits to the player in this regard. So, yeah, it is within the rules. The wood distribution does not violate any of the rules. And so I wouldn't be surprised to see, I don't want to be so dramatic and say this is going to take over Major League Baseball, but I mean, it stands to reason that if I'm a hitter, I want to understand where I naturally make contact and how to optimize that with my weapon, as opposed to having to make these adjustments to fit a bat. Like when the bat can maybe change a little bit easier than I can. So, I mean, I think it's really interesting.
Yeah, I don't think we have to go to golf, but as slow pitch softball guy, I mean, we've been using end-loaded bats for a long time because that's where you hit the ball. Don't you want the most weight in the barrel?
I just assumed
Yeah.
that the bat was the bat because they had decided that's what the bat had to be. And the first time I thought about this, Jared, was when you guys were calling a spring training game and the White Sox had an Asian guy who had like a reverse weighted bat. Where like
Yeah.
all of the weight was down by, and I thought, I guess you can just do that. You can just change the weight
Yeah.
distribution of the bat. As a non-baseball player, I just assumed the bat was the bat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So there are rules about the diameter. It can't exceed a certain diameter and it can't exceed a certain weight. But there's nothing in the rule book about the distribution and stuff. And I think you guys even talked about there are guys who have different knobs. And that's, counterbalance, counterweight, stuff like that. Evan Carter used that, I think, in 2023 when he first came up. But yeah, I mean, to my knowledge, there's no, and I guess baseball's come out and said, no, this is perfectly legal. So, I mean, this is like the most, I don't know, in football, the equipment, like, we've seen how many different iterations of helmets, like over the last 10 years to protect against concussions. And, we see different, the pads that players wear are totally different. And basketball, I mean, there's really not a whole lot from an equipment standpoint, but they definitely, shoes that change based on a player's comfort. It makes sense that in baseball, the bat, which is the most common use thing other than a glove, is customized to the player's preferences.